This is nice of you all to be out here talking about an issue that goes to for me, the core of what it is to be a citizen, what it is to live in a democracy, which is how our voices are counted, how our voices are heard, or in some cases, not heard. Kelly just came backstage and said that was his first presentation or first time speaking publicly. I think someone's got a future, if I were to guess. It's good to see young folks with talent talking about things they care about. Now, I might not rely on the slides too much because I've realized that there's a presentation following me that describes a lot of the details and does it probably in a much better way than I could. I'll glance over the top of things, but I'd also like to tell a couple of stories because I think stories are important for how we got here and what's going on, and maybe catch people up on what's going on nationally, which I think is very important. But let's start with an exercise because I'm a recovering facilitator from before politics, and I like to do stuff. So what you'll need for this exercise is your arms, and all you need the ability to do is to cross your arms. You too. Come on now. There you go. Okay, now as your arms are crossed, just look at how your arms are folded. So which arm goes over the top and which one goes underneath. No changing. And don't look at your neighbors, it's only going to confuse you. Great, so for me, my right arm goes over top. Oh, I know, it's strange. Okay, so undo that, that's great. I'd like you to fold your arms again, but do it the opposite way this time, please. Whatever was on top is now, yeah, you got it. Just keep working it until it comes. It'll eventually get there. Great, okay, yep. Now drop that, that was great. Okay, I'd like you to do it that way one more time, the opposite way. Okay, you can stop now, because you all look like a very defensive crowd, not willing to listen to anything. The first time I asked you to fold your arms, what did you think about? Nothing? Natural? If we were measuring brain activity in the auditorium tonight, any spikes? Pretty steady. How does it physically feel the very first time? Comfortable? Didn't have to think about it a lot, felt natural, felt comfortable? Anything else? Okay. The second time I asked you, when I asked you to fold it opposite, what went through your minds? You had to think about it? Someone yelled out hamburgers once when I asked that question, because that was going through their minds at the time. So you had to think about it. If we were again measuring brain activity, was there a little uptick a bit? Yeah, there was a bit of volume too. People talk, laugh, talk to each other. How did it feel? How does it feel to physically have your arms crossed the other way? Unnatural? Different? Anybody feel normal? Anyone? There's a few people always that it feels both ways the same. So it felt a bit unnatural. When I asked you to do it the second time, the awkward way, how was that? A little bit better, harder. Some people regressed. Some people, it just got worse and worse. If we kept doing it, they'd eventually be in a puddle on the floor. For many of us, it got a little bit easier, maybe. Okay. There was a psychology department at the UCLA put up a notice one day and said, for $10 to students, come in and be guinea pigs. And they had them fold and unfold their arms for 2 hours. In their original way, in the opposite way, in the original way, in the opposite way. What did they end up learning from this 120 minutes of arm folding? What kinds of conclusions came out? Normal either way? What you can get a student to do for $10? Quite a bit. By the end of the study, and they repeated it several times with several groups, is that upwards of 85% of the students, when they were leaving, could not remember their original way of folding their arms. Couldn't say what their natural way was. And some people will sit and say that, no, I know what's comfortable. What does this tell us about the process of change for people? Difficult? Difficult, possible. What else?
It takes time.
It takes time. What else does it take? Repetition. perseverance, a little getting through the discomfort at the first time. When we're talking about this, which is talking about change, for those that are into the change and see the merits of change, have you ever had that conversation that's frustrating where the person you're talking to just doesn't seem to get it? All the wonderful benefits of change, and they're just not getting it, and it can be a bit frustrating. This is true for people everywhere all the time. When we survey Canadians and ask them, how comfortable are you with change in your life? What do Canadians tell us? We're totally open to it. I'm a person who's very adaptable. I encourage change in my life. Then we say, change where you buy your coffee. And they say, no. I'm Tim Hortons. I'm Starbucks. When we say change where you start for men who shave, I start here for some reason. I don't know why. Every once in a while, when I want to be a bit rebellious, I go to the other side and I get nervous. The process of change is not necessarily a natural one for people. And little changes can sometimes be the most difficult. Certainly changing our way of thinking about something that we've known our entire lives can be the most difficult. Because for most Canadians, they didn't wake up this morning thinking about the advantages of proportional representation versus first past the post. Most Canadians woke up worried about what? Coffee. Coffee, work, rent, the kids, maybe just coffee. Maybe Kelowna's really obsessed with coffee. Kavanaugh, some people woke up very concerned about Trump. Yeah, sure, okay. But weren't worried about voting systems, and that's normal and that's right. I think there's two challenges that I've witnessed at the federal level, and I think they may be true here for British Columbia, to getting this change across. One is taking something that can be complex and translating it to a point where it's understandable. And the second challenge is taking something that seems kind of in your brain and in your mind and translating it to something that has meaning for people, connected to things that have meaning in their day-to-day lives, right? And voting seems like something you just do. What we have the opportunity to do, though, I would argue, in this, is to perhaps see a domino effect go across the country. I really do. I've been watching this play out. I visit a lot of provinces and talk to a lot of rooms like this, and there is an energy and a swelling energy of a dissatisfaction with our politics right now. A dissatisfaction with the call from voters and the response for those who speak on our behalf.